Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on measuring the sustainability efforts of your travel program. I'm Ariana Etemadier, a marketing manager at Uber for Business, and I'll be your moderator for today. Our agenda for today will include a quick overview on Uber for Business, a discussion about the rise of sustainability in business travel, and a closer look at Uber's sustainability, our own sustainability work at Uber. We'll close out our session today with a Q&A. Please use the Q&A box in the lower left-hand side of your screen. We'll get through as many as we can, and for any questions that are left unanswered, we'll follow up with you separately. So first, a quick overview. Some of you may be wondering, what is Uber for Business? Founded in 2016, Uber for Business is a platform for managing global rides, meals, and local deliveries for companies of any size. We have more than 170,000 customers, including more than 60% of the Fortune 500. And we found that teams using Uber for Business work more efficiently and feel more in control when setting up programs around business travel, customer incentives, employee perks, and more. When it comes to business travel, beyond visibility and policy enforcement, Uber for Business also offers sustainable solutions. Our speaker today, Andrew Kalinin, will walk us through those. Andrew is the global sustainability lead for Uber for Business. Based in Amsterdam, he has driven corporate sustainability throughout various functions and geographies. We'll be hearing from Andrew on why ground transportation plays a crucial role in your organization's sustainability goals, what sustainability metrics to prioritize, and where to begin, and how Uber for Business helps our clients move towards a more sustainable future. Andrew, please take it away.
Hi everyone, and thank you so much, Ariana. It is my absolute pleasure to join you today to talk about my favorite topic of sustainability. As you can see, I really do live the brand, at least as far as my virtual backgrounds go. But in all seriousness, sustainability is a key topic both at Uber, but also and clearly for most of our clients. In fact, nowadays, around 90% of business executives believe sustainability is an important topic, and further 60% of companies already do have sustainability programs and strategies in place. But without further ado, let's dive in and discuss this topic in a bit more detail. First and foremost, let's talk about the global state of affairs and where we stand today in terms of the global push for sustainability. Notably to mention here is that it is the global COVID-19 pandemic that really changed business outlook on a number of things, including our overall thinking around sustainability. During the strictest phases of global lockdowns, CO2 emissions fell by up to 17% compared to the previous year. And we finally realized that there is a potential for a better, cleaner, and more sustainable future. Since then, organizations around the globe embarked on an extraordinary effort to set sustainability goals, reduce emissions, and focus overall on the well-being of our planet, employees, and customers. According to the Harvard Business Review, 2021 was the year that sustainable business became the norm. However, COVID-19 was not the only catalyst for such change. A number of underlying global trends further accelerate the need for corporate sustainability. Indeed, such trends as worsening climate change, which unfortunately shows no signs of slowing down, and that already causes significant environmental damage, such as melting glaciers, global floods, and droughts, which all of that is forcing us to consider the environment even more. If anything, according to the latest UN climate report, the time to act is now if we want to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is the accepted mark to ensure limited negative impacts. Additionally, businesses are also facing increasing pressure from both investors and consumers to innovate and become more sustainable. One of the key studies by S&P Global suggests that the new ESG regulations are becoming more embedded in business practices, and they are requiring business leaders to start taking into account the climate impact of doing business, and also in turn consider the environment risks on the businesses themselves. Furthermore, and according to a number of isolated polls we run, more than 70% of business consumers said that they became more considerate of the environment in the past 2 years and are concerned about the impact of air pollution. In other words, majority would like to see corporations take greater steps to reduce their environmental impact. Actually, so much so that around 60% say they would be more likely to stay with their current employer if the company offered electric rides for business travel. So clearly, yet another external pressure point. As a result, we saw a number of encouraging developments in the field of corporate sustainability. And just to use ourselves as an example, and by the way, we also highlight these and many more other achievements in our recently published ESG 2022 report, for those of you who want to go deeper. But just to summarize, like many corporations, Uber is shifting towards more sustainable ways of operating, and specifically around our energy sources and buildings, as indicated by our commitment to offsetting 100% of energy use in the US offices with renewable energy by 2025 already. Further, and as industry leader, Uber is devoting significant leadership resources to sustainability in general. As case in point, we recently set up a global sustainability team that is tasked with overseeing and managing our climate change strategy cross-functionally around the globe. Finally, we, like many other companies, are making progress on setting measurable goals and reporting on them in a transparent way. And actually, this year marks the first year ever when we reported globally along all Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3 emissions. Nevertheless, despite growing momentum in corporate sustainability, this progress is not universal. The very same Harvard Business Review, for instance, is also highlighting that surprisingly few companies are making meaningful progress in delivering on their ESG commitments. Indeed, of the 2,000 global companies tracked by the World Benchmarking Alliance, most have no explicit sustainability goals, and among those that do, very few are on track to meet them. Now, this could, of course, partly be explained by the fact that some struggle to reconcile sustainability commitments with day-to-day operations. In other words, striking the right balance between profits, people, and planet. Indeed, only around 6% of recent study respondents say their company currently allows employees to spend more on sustainable travel in general. And some even suggest that around a third of companies are afraid they might have to cut business travel by as much as 25% by 2025 already in order to meet those sustainability goals and pledges. But what I would like to focus here more on is that, interestingly, this issue could also be explained by the fact that corporations lack a consistent, standardized measurement of reporting across all scopes, all lines of businesses, and all locations. Corporations particularly struggle with accounting for the impact of business travel, or Scope 3 of their emissions. And indeed, as we found out in our collaboration with GBTA recently, only around 28% of travel managers are tracking ground transportation-related sustainability efforts. And nowadays, as they say, what gets measured gets managed, and it definitely holds true for sustainability. Again, to use ourselves as an example, at Uber, we like to measure and track things from 3 holistic levels. At the top policy level, globally, we want to get to net zero and without a strong reliance on offsets. So our business is not resulting in real world pollution or adding more carbon to the atmosphere. Ideally, we'll hit the levels of warming agreed to with the Paris and Glasgow agreements, and as much as 10 years ahead of schedule by 2040. On the second and organizational level, each company is going to set their own sustainability goals and how they plan to achieve them. This can be validated by NGOs to determine that a business commitments are legitimate and there is a strategy to back them up, so that it's not just greenwashing, obviously. And finally, and on an individual level, people can measure a variety of actions. In transport, we prefer to measure progress using a sector-specific intensity metric, emissions per passenger mile. So for every mile someone travels, what are the emissions created? And speaking of measurements, indeed, we do already know that the largest contributor to US greenhouse gas emissions is the transportation sector. To be precise, carbon emissions from transportation grew 79% since 1990, and now constitute around a third of all US greenhouse gas emissions in 2020. This does present a challenge, not least of all, because finally, since the pandemic, global travel is picking up. And more specifically, according to the latest Business Travel Index outlook, global business travel is projected to recover to pre-pandemic levels sometime in 2025. Largely, of course, but thanks to improving global vaccination efforts, easing national and international travel policies, as well as overall underlying economic recovery. So that, coupled with the fact that majority of B2B travel industry professionals already do consider sustainability a priority for their respective companies, this does indicate that sustainability is poised to play an ever-increasing role in the recovering ground transportation industry, as it should. And one notable call out here is one of the biggest industry initiatives that drive sustainability, including for ground transportation too. And I'm of course talking about Science-Based Targets Initiative. SBTi, as it's commonly referred to as, shows companies how much and how quickly business needs to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions in line with Paris Agreement's goals, of course, to prevent the worst impacts of climate change. Indeed, transparency and accountability is the first step towards moving a more sustainable future. And that is why more and more corporations are committing to science-based targets and other carbon emissions reduction pledges. As a matter of fact, SBTI now has an ever-growing membership base of over 1,700 global organizations. And here, I'm proud to say that as Uber, we joined the Science-Based Targets Initiative way back in August 2020. We are currently on track to submit and get our science-based target validated in 2022. I really hope to be able to share some more news with you really soon. And speaking of Uber's sustainability commitments and pledges, I think now would be a great moment to shine some more light on our overall sustainability strategy and approach. At Uber, our mission is to change the world moves for the better. And for the better also means towards a more sustainable future. And that is why we aspire to become the cleanest platform on earth, because it's the right thing to do for our consumers, for our cities, and for our businesses. To that end, and more specifically, Uber is dedicated to accelerating the transition to a zero emissions, low waste platform, reducing the need for private cars, and creating an overall more livable environment for us all. We, of course, expect to be judged against our actions, and that is why we're publicly committed to becoming a zero emissions platform by 2040 globally. In practice, this means that 100% of all rides globally will be in zero emission vehicles or through micromobility and public transit options. The way we're aiming to get there is by focusing on the three key pillars. Firstly, of course, is on focusing on our drivers, and specifically by supporting our drivers with transitioning towards electrical vehicles as fast as possible and as equitably as possible. To that end, and just for reference, we currently have over 26,000 monthly active zero electric vehicle drivers globally who have completed over 13 million trips just last quarter alone. But we are further committed to helping our drivers by educating them about the long-term benefits of EV ownership, as well as by providing financial resources and support. More specifically here, our Green Future program provides access to resources valued at 800 million to help hundreds of thousands of drivers transition to electrical vehicles by 2025 in Canada, Europe, and the US. Another standout initiative is our partnership with Hertz that will provide 50,000 Teslas for rent in the US by 2023. So far, already over 15,000 drivers have already joined the program and share incredibly positive feedback. We're very excited about this initiative. But secondly, our sustainability strategy is also focused on our consumer, specifically on encouraging consumers to choose green and car-free products such as micromobility and public transit. The most important example here is our Uber Green product, the world's most widely available on-demand mobility solution for no or low-emission rides. Since being founded in 2016, it is now available in over 100 cities worldwide, with the key value proposition of this product being that it is on average around 25% less carbon intensive than your normal quote-unquote Uber X trip. And finally, our sustainability strategy is focused on transparency and accountability. And such conversations are a key part of this pillar, but we're doing so much more than that, including being the only global mobility platform publishing our climate impact and assessment reports, as well as disclosing all three scopes of carbon emissions globally this year. Finally, we also have a number of ESG scorecards that we are always happy to share with our corporate partners and clients, such as EcoVadis, amongst many others. What all of this means is that by partnering with Uber, you can be rest assured that we are taking the topics of sustainability extremely seriously. We are working around the clock to help you align the commercial, social, and environmental considerations of doing business. And speaking of business, from the Uber for Business side, we want to go even further. We understand that climate is a team sport, and it's our mission is to become our customers' global sustainability partner of choice. Again, it is our ambition to support and empower our clients' sustainability journeys worldwide. And the way we're going about it is by focusing on helping our clients gain visibility into their respective carbon footprints, as well as in ways to reduce it by encouraging the use of green and multimodal products. With that in mind, that is why I'm extremely excited about our recently launched Global Sustainability Dashboard that is available to every single client worldwide. And that is over 170,000 organizations around the globe. This product is a cornerstone of Uber for Business sustainability strategy. And we can't wait to see how it will help businesses become more sustainable. We have launched an extensive campaign, so if you have any questions or would like to see more information explaining this product and our approach in more detail, please don't hesitate to reach out. But without further ado, let's dive in and walk through this dashboard together. With our new sustainability dashboard, Uber for Business clients will have a much clearer view of their company's sustainability progress. More specifically, our clients will be able to track their CO2 emissions over time, and will be able to zoom in on their impact from individual countries, as well as the overall global footprint. We, of course, attach our calculation methodology inside the dashboard so that anyone can see exactly how we measure CO2 emissions, as well as see that our methodology has been externally verified and reviewed. But in short, our CO2 emissions estimations are based on a bottom-up approach, where we consider vehicle details such as vehicle and engine type, as well as fuel type whenever possible. Further, Uber for Business customers will also have a view into the associated sustainability metrics, such as the amount of low or no emission rides taken by an organization, to further encourage our customers to make sustainable choices. And finally, this dashboard will also house our latest reports, publications, and posts pertaining to sustainability, so that clients will have on-demand access to our latest progress on sustainability and electrification, as well as our various and up-to-date ESG scorecards and accreditations, of course. In terms of specific metrics and graphs, our dashboard will present you with the following views of total low emission trips. And that includes the total number of trips taken using Uber Green and Uber Comfort electric products by an Uber for Business user in a given time frame. Notably here for LATAM, that also includes our Uber Planet products. Secondly, low emission trip percentage. That allows to view the proportion of low emission trips to total trips taken by the customer in order to quickly gauge how many trips align with the company's climate commitments. Notably here, and looking at the initial data, we can see that in some countries, up to 10% of corporate travel is already composed of low or no emission rides. And hopefully, this dashboard will push clients towards a more sustainable future and drive those numbers up. Next, and of course, is the total emissions number, which is total emissions emitted by company across all rides in a given time frame. And finally, is the average CO2 emitted per mile, which allows you to analyze carbon emission intensity metric over time. It is still early days as far as the product goes, but we have already received great initial feedback, both quantitatively and qualitatively. In terms of usage metrics, over 4,000 organizations globally have engaged with this dashboard so far, spending dozens of hours investigating their carbon footprint around the globe, as well as clicking through to Uber sustainability resources and publications hundreds of times, as well as learning how best to overall incentivize their employees to prioritize sustainable travel options too. And as you can see, we have also received great public endorsements, including from our key partners at Salesforce, who view this dashboard as a key part of their sustainability strategy going forward. Overall, our clients love having this product and are beginning to leverage it for creation of sustainable travel programs. And speaking of sustainable strategies going forward, at the moment, the best way to reduce one's carbon footprint is to take more low emission rides. In the future, it will also be more important to focus on the educational and promotional components of sustainable travel, and encouraging one's employees to consider using greener products whenever appropriate. Actually, much the same way we provide a wide range of educational programs for drivers across our major markets, including EV ambassador programs, driver webinars, events, public awareness campaigns. The same way, we're really happy to closely partner with our customers and share various materials that they can use internally to promote greener products such as Uber Green. Looking ahead, the exciting thing is that we are only just getting started. This period and this specific product release is all about establishing the foundations on which we will build in the future. And now that we have this homepage for all things sustainability set up for our customers, we will work further to improve the granularity of data available, work on including additional data points and views, as well as focus on being more insights driven and offer helpful suggestions to our clients regarding how can they reduce their carbon footprint. Furthermore, we're excited to tap into our third leadership potential and partner with our clients to promote and produce interesting business travel studies as well as opinion pieces. So to summarize, climate is a team sport. And if we are to successfully address the global climate crisis together, we need to act as global citizens, as consumers, and as businesses. On that positive note, I will pause here and thank you all for your attention. I would also like you to share any questions you might have, and we'll do our best to answer as many of them as possible. Thank you again.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Andrew. And as he mentioned, if you have any questions from today's session, please feel free to enter them in the Q&A box that you'll find on the left-hand side of your screen. So a first question that we have here, I'm an Uber for Business customer. How can I submit feedback to the team about metrics?
Great question. I think the best starting point will be to reach out to your sales support staff, your account executives, your account manager, and they will be able to advise you on the next steps. Notably to mention, we do have the sustainability team at O4B as well that is here to accommodate any feedback, and I'll personally be very happy to answer any inquiries myself.
Yes. And with that said, we've also included Andrew's contact information within his speaker bio module that you'll also find on your screen. Next question. Why can you only view low or no emissions rides in the dashboard? Is there a way to see the emissions of regular rides like UberX?
Great question yet again. We specifically surface low and no emission rides metrics to incentivize organizations to make sustainable choices for their travel programs. It's just the beginning, and over time, we'll keep on adding more metrics, of course. But fundamentally, our CO2 emissions data does cover UberX, and you can find more information in the attached methodology that you can find on the dashboard.
Great. Thank you so much, Andrew. So our third question, can you export the emissions data directly from the dashboard?
Yes, absolutely, you can. We do provide CSV exports of all metrics shown on the sustainability dashboard to accommodate all of our clients' requests.
Great. Love how easy that is. And our last question so far, what do my employees need to do to ensure the rides are included in the sustainability metrics?
That's an easy one. All they need to do is to make sure they're linked by their business profile to their organizational profile. And the rest will take care in the background.
Great. Thank you so much, Andrew. Well, if that's all the questions we have for today, thank you guys so much for your participation. Look out in your emails for a recording of today's session so you can have that information for future reference. And stay tuned from Uber for Business for more upcoming webinars we have around all things business, travel, and more. Thank you and take care.